Sometimes when dealing with conditionals, we want two paths of logic that are mutually exclusive. What this means is we want to do one thing if something is true and something else if something is false, but never both. One path will be chosen and the other path will not be chosen. We can do this with something called an if-else statement. Here I have a scene, and in the scene we have a boy game object, and on that game object we have our conditionals script. Let's go ahead and look at it inside MonoDevelop and see what we can do with an if-else condition. Inside this conditional script, I already have a few things. First off, I have two public integer variables, one named current level and another named super level. I also have two strings, one named normal name and the other super name, and those strings are set to some default values. What I'd like to do is I'd like to look at the current level of this character, and if it is below our super level, give this character the normal name. If it is above super level, I want to give it the super name. You might try doing this with two if statements, like this. You could start by saying if current level is less than super level, then set GameObject.name equal to normal level. This will currently evaluate to true, based on current level being smaller than super level, and our game object will be named with the value of the normal name variable. Then we can write a second if statement for our super level by writing if current level is greater than or equal to super level, GameObject.name equals supername. This will certainly do what we want it to do, however it has an issue in that it's very inefficient. Even though in this current situation the character can either be under the super level or over the super level, we still evaluate both if statements. What we would really like to happen is for the system to evaluate one statement and determine which line of code needs to run. That way we only have to make one decision and it's a faster program overall. Back in Unity, let's press play and see this in action. We will see that this in fact does work. The boy's name has been changed to Boring Man. And as we change the current level, we will see the name get changed to Super Awesome Man. If we reduce it again, we'll see that it goes back. So you might be thinking to yourself, if that worked, what's the problem with this current structure? The problem is, we have what we call a binary situation. We can either be under the level or over the level. Yet our software is evaluating both statements every time, and that's very inefficient. Instead, we know it can either be one or the other, so we should really only need to make a single decision. We can do that and shorten this up quite a bit by using the if-else statement. To do that, we're going to leave the structure pretty much entirely as it is. However, we're going to drastically change line 17. Now, if instead of if and then another if, we are simply going to say if, else, and we don't need this extra line. Now our statement says, if our current level is less than super level, then set the name of the game object to normal name. Otherwise, or else, set the name of the game object to supername. We'll see in Unity that this does the same thing, however only a single decision needs to be made. Let's say we wanted a third option. Let's say we wanted something to happen if the current level was exactly equal to the super level. Let's go ahead and create another string. We'll call this one middle name, and this will represent the player transforming from Boring Man to Super Awesome Man. Now since our current if-else statement is basically a binary structure, meaning one or the other, we're going to have to make a modification. Since we need more than two outcomes, we're going to need more than one decision. In this case, we still want to use this if-else structure, but we're going to add one new statement to it. We're going to use something called an if else structure. In this way, we're going to say if current level is less than super level, then do something. Then we're going to say else if, and we're going to give another conditional. This time the conditional is going to be current level equals super level. The result of current level being exactly equal to super level will be that the name of the game object will be set to middle name. Now we can leave our else statement in there to say if our current level is less than super level, we get the normal name. If it's equal to the super level, we get the middle name. Otherwise, and for all other outcomes, we get the super name. Let's go ahead and see this work. In Unity, I'll press play. And as I go from my current level to the super level, I can see that I am now at transforming man. And finally, if I go over the super level, I'm now super awesome man. There is no limit to the number of else ifs we can have in an if-else if statement. Furthermore, we don't necessarily need to have an else. We could simply have an if, else if statement. It's worth knowing, though, that when using an if, else if, else statement, the first conditional to be true is the one the software will go with. If you have two else ifs, or an if and an else if that are both true, the first one encountered is the first one that will be executed.